Lyon, France. 2 visits, 2 different hotels. Paris to Lyon. The last time I came to Lyon, I flew. This time I decided to try something I'd never done before. Take the high-speed train from Paris, which is about a 2-hour ride. I was booked a first-class seat in cabine, and honestly, it was spacious and comfortable, more like a small lounge rather than a train seat. Sitting in first class was a bit quieter, and you also had more spacious travel experience, as well as your solo seats, or else you could get the duo seats, or if you're traveling with 4, you could get the face-to-face seaters where you could recline your chair, have a little bit more room. There was breakfast, Wi-Fi, and connectivity. It was actually quite beautiful to watch the scenery go by as opposed to looking at it from below. The 2 hours went by fast. About 2 hours after leaving Paris, we were pulling into Lyon. But this wasn't actually my first time here. About a year earlier, I arrived in Lyon in a very different way. I stayed at the Lyon Marriott Hotel Cité Internationale, which sits within the Cité Internationale complex. It's an interesting location because the hotel is connected to the convention center at one end of the complex, while Interpol's headquarters sits at the other end. It's a different kind of place. The hotel was beautiful. It was modern, quite open. This is the lobby. From the back side of the hotel, you can access the convention center and walk all the way through. There's a couple of restaurants. Then there's an exit to the other side, I guess leads to Interpol. Let's go upstairs and check out my room. My room was on the 7th floor. Upgraded, and the view was spectacular. You could see the river from outside the hallway, then also my room. My room was an upgrade from the standard guest room to the executive guest room. It was a bit more spacious because it was about 344 square feet or 32 square meters. Standard stuff. You've got the safe, you've got bathrobes. Let's check out the bathroom. It's clean, spacious, a bit more modern. That's what I liked about the hotel. It was modern. Quite comfortable, as you'd expect from a Marriott. Espresso machine. There's a mini fridge so you can put beverages in. What's great about... If you watched my first video, I went goo goo gaga over the hairdryer. This one, nothing to write home about, and usually that's the sad case in most of the hotel stays. I explored the property. Even though the hotel does have a fitness room, it was fairly small, and every time I went down there, people were using it, so I couldn't really walk around filming. The bigger advantage here is that for people who are here for a conference, this is a great location. Breakfast is something I pay attention to, especially when I'm traveling for work or for pleasure. The Marriott, I get complimentary breakfast with my status. This one put on a good show. The buffet was delicious. And because we're in France, you'll have the European scrambled eggs. Variety of foods, the pancakes. The bread was unique because it's the French style of cornbread, and you can also poach your eggs. I didn't get to try it though. I saw other people do it. Variety of grains. If you're looking for healthy options, there's a lot that's being offered, especially with the organic yogurt and fruits. The bread was phenomenal. So as I explored the city, Lyon had a claim to fame I didn't know before visiting here. The city has an important place in the history of cinema. It was actually where Augustus and Louis Lumière did their pioneering work here for shaping the beginnings of motion pictures. And of course, they love the music here. There's plenty to do around Lyon. It's a little city, but it's got its own character, from restaurants to places to visit. It is known for its gastronomy, which I learned is your whole experiential, I guess, affair with food. So back to the present day. I already knew I liked Lyon, but this time I wanted to experience more of the city itself, and that meant making a hotel choice I don't make very often. Instead of automatically booking another Marriott, I chose the Sofitel Lyon Bellecour. And there really was one reason: location. The Sofitel sits right in the heart of Lyon, near Place Bellecour, which meant I could step outside and actually walk to many of the places I wanted to explore. On paper, that sounded perfect. My first impression was very good. The front desk staff were genuinely lovely, and the service throughout my stay was one of the things I really appreciated about this hotel. Great Sofitel vibes. I gotta say, I booked the Sofitel because I had high expectations, because it's a Sofitel. World-renowned, high class, 5-star. I gotta admit, the room was comfortable enough, but it wasn't really the standard I was expecting for the hotel itself. It was, comfortable enough, and I had my espresso machine, so that's always a plus. The bed was soft, even if it was a double bed. It was quite comfortable. What was great was that inside the fridge, you actually had sparkling water and then also still water, choices of juices, and they always put flavored popcorn in the fridge. There was also the comfort and standards that you would have in normal hotels as well. Robes, slippers that were quite cozy. The bathroom, to be honest, was a bit dated, a little bit in need of a renovation, but it was quite cute nonetheless, and comfortable and spacious. And now for the important hotel evaluation. After looking at what was around the bathroom, the hair dryer. I wish I could have had nicer things to say. I couldn't turn it on. It was a little bit difficult. Unfortunately, it did not wow me at all. Now, the Sofitel did have a fitness center and a spa, and it was quite cute to head down there. decent equipment, cardio, area for weights. And yes, because I work in skincare, I always look to see what products the spa is using. No Ultraderm. We'll have to work on that. The treadmill was great because it had a nice view. You could stare out into the grass. My favorite feature of the Sofitel was upstairs. Breakfast was served on the top floor with incredible views of Lyon. Absolutely spectacular. Panoramic views. I got my footage before people actually were ready for breakfast. First one there. The breakfast itself was quite welcoming. You got a good variety of things. Compared with the Marriott, the selection wasn't as vast as the other location. Pastries were much better at the Marriott, but these would pass. They would do. They had better selection of cakes. You can actually order a la carte as well if you wanted to. Compared to the Marriott had a better selection for the buffet, but there's no question about which one had the better breakfast view. Hands down, the Sofitel has the most beautiful breakfast view. Right outside the front door of the Sofitel, you could just start exploring. And this is why I chose the Sofitel. I could simply walk out the door, start exploring, no car, no planning, just walk. And the views were spectacular. The chocolate mousse dessert was fabulous, simply delicious. Rich dark chocolate with some chips and salt on top. brought out the flavor. Lyon is an incredibly walkable city once you're in the center. Beautiful architecture, shopping, little streets to wander, and of course, food. Lyon has a serious reputation when it comes to gastronomy, so eating your way through at least a little part of the city almost feels mandatory. Before I left, I made sure I found a boulangerie so that I could bring home some wonderful French pastries, and I wasn't disappointed. So which hotel is right for you? It really depends on what kind of trip you're taking. If you're looking for something that's close to a convention center, you're here for business, the Marriott's great. You can Uber into town. If you're walking around and just want to feel the city, the Sofitel is good. 2 trips, 2 very different stays, and honestly, Lyon gave me a great version of both. And getting to and from this trip turned out to be another adventure on its own. See you in the next one.